how do you view nature and animals? Perhaps you believe they have emotions for humans. In fact, all living beings hold the same position in nature. They exist to live or die. To Build a Fire by Jack London delivers this truth mercilessly and directly. The plot of To Build a Fire is extremely simple. A man and a dog travel through a snowy wilderness in the dead of winter. After realizing his body is freezing, the man attempts to build a fire 3 times. The first fire is very successful. His experience and observation give him confidence, believing he can succeed again. Next, although he tries to avoid thin ice, he still steps onto it and falls into the water, making it necessary to build another fire to dry out. This time, he builds the fire under a tree. While it starts successfully, the heat melts the ice above. The snow collapses, extinguishing the flames. The third time, he learns from his mistake and builds the fire in an open area. However, by then, his limbs are too frozen to separate matches or hold them properly to start a fire. His clumsy attempts cause the flames to die out once again. Helplessly, the man even tries to kill the dog for warmth, but the dog, sensing danger through instinct, escapes from him. The man eventually starts to run to warm his body, but after falling several times, he decides to face death with dignity. Even in his final moments, he reflects on the words of the old-timer. What about the dog? It survives, discovers the man's death, and searches for its next food and fire provider. The man in the story symbolizes human beings, including you and me. We are intelligent, capable of using tools, creative, able to learn from experiences and draw lessons from others' advice. Just like the man in the story who knows all the facts and principles. Knowledge and reasoning give us confidence. However, when we overly rely on knowledge and see it as invincible, we risk losing our survival instinct, overlooking the dangers of the natural environment, and ignoring humanity's fragility in the face of nature. The dog in this story represents animals. It lacks reasoning or the ability to interpret numbers, but it has a keen awareness of how the environment affects it and never recklessly challenges nature. Humans act based on judgment, while animals rely on instinct. But when survival becomes the only goal, the power of instinct surpasses that of judgment. For example, when nature strikes back with typhoons, earthquakes, or tsunamis, although humans possess knowledge, predictions, and protective measures, we are not exempt from the need to flee. When I first read this story, I was frustrated. I kept asking myself, what's wrong with this man? Why does he insist on pushing through the snowy wilderness? Doesn't he realize he can just turn back and go home? However, after reading it again and again, I began to see that the man represents anyone in the world. We humans often consider ourselves intelligent, and we have technology. But do knowledge and technology truly give us an advantage over animals when it comes to survival? The story's ending suggests otherwise, as the dog understands survival far better than the man. What is particularly fascinating about this story is that it's not just about survival. It's a lesson in wisdom and humility. We may have knowledge, and we may carry the lessons and experiences of our predecessors. But do we truly listen to the small, often overlooked signals from our intuition and from nature? Or are we just like the man whose mind is as numb as his body? I believe you would be clear with the answer if you read To Build a Fire by Jack London.